Hello everyone, my name is Connor Queen. I'm with the product development team here at Ford. I'm going to be presenting for funding for Ford UpCycle. I've passed out a few examples that as we go along, if you wouldn't mind just flipping through and following along, we'll clarify everything, and then if you have questions, we'll just do them all at the end. Thank you so much. So to get started, Ford's values. We believe in the power of creating a world with fewer obstacles and limits, where people have the freedom to build a better life and pursue their dreams, to shorten the distance between where you are and where you want to go, to connect people down the road and over the horizon, to discover possibilities and enjoy the thrill, adventure, and pride of moving freely. From day one, we provided people with tools to help them move forward and upward. We've innovated to expand their opportunities, and we've worked to earn their trust every single day. We honor our legacy as we build the future, a better world for generations to come. Because when everyone is free to move and free to dream, we do what we do best. We change the world. So Ford's current value proposition. Ford Motor Company is a global automotive manufacturer within the car, midsize truck, and commercial vehicle markets. We offer vehicle servicing and financing through our dealer networks. Ford is making a strategic pivot currently from ICE production, so internal combustion engines, into battery electric vehicles or BEVs. Recently, in addition, we have sold off our Indian manufacturing plants over in India, and we're moving everything to US and European centric markets and models. They're more profitable, and that's the move that we're making. All right, so Ford plus UpCycle value proposition. Ford is facing increasingly competitive ICE and BEV segments. So, we're introducing UpCycle, where Ford will repair and replace older manufacturing motors with Illuminator, PMSMs, and servicing agreements. Ford is in collaboration with Borg-Warner and has developed some of the most efficient drive motors to date. They are hyper-compact, durable, and efficient. This makes them a game changer for industrial and mass manufacturing. So, without diversified product offerings, Ford is at risk of over-indexing on a shrinking low-margin business, being ICE motors. We're moving into battery electrics, but there are fewer cars being purchased every year relative to years past. So, this is why we're focused on a pivot into industrial manufacturing. We can do it better than most of our competitors due to our development and manufacturing of our own PMSM motors. Our motors are highly efficient, compact, and make them ideal for replacing components in industrial manufacturing. UpCycle shifts the value proposition into one of electrification with higher margins. Industrial machinery and repair carry higher margins and higher net profit margins, which forces Ford into subscription revenue, which stabilizes revenues throughout the year. Servicing and replacement PMSMs while selling them makes Ford an integral player in US and global manufacturing. This would give Ford access to gross margins of roughly 30% and net margins up to, this is including BEVs, up to 16% in total. As you can see, Ford is trying to transition into BEVs or battery electric vehicles, and there's a lot of room to make up. We are part of a large pie that is growing, but we make up a very small sliver of it. So we need to diversify to stabilize for the future. So, what are our risks and our opportunities? The current repair industry has a fractured network of very small-scale regional servicers. Large manufacturers focus on the production of new machinery rather than repairing the old machinery and updating older models. As efficiency standards continue to get pushed through different legislations, these standards will become more ubiquitous, which forces manufacturers to retrofit or replace inefficient production motors and lines. Ford, in this situation, will be the largest player with the most accessible product/servicing offering. So, does it make sense to proceed with this new product or service? Based on the business model chart, this can be an excellent way to diversify revenue streams and increase margins. So we should proceed with a regional launch to verify our assumptions before going full scale. What are the risks to our business model? Well, there are two main ones. The largest risk is that it's easily replicable and other automotive corporations could move into the area. There is no moat currently. So, the advantage lies in those first movers who can get into the arena and set up a brand. The second largest risk is manufacturing defects or recalls with Borg-Warner and Magna. So if we have issues that we have to recall for our BEV vehicles or BEVs, we're going to also have to recall a lot of these motors that we've installed in machinery and then swap them out. That's the second big one. So, are there things that we could do or should do to strengthen the business model or reduce the risks? Absolutely. We can mitigate most of these risks by tapping into additional supply chain partnerships and supplies. Growth opportunities. So if you take a look at this small chart, it shows PMSM market snapshot, growing at 10.08% per year, and it lists ABB, Siemens, and a couple other smaller manufacturers. Now, ABB and Siemens are very large companies, but they do not do much servicing. They do production of almost exclusively AC and DC motors, and they don't do much PMSMs. So, PMSM not over-indexed by these large fish. So the growth opportunities in these sectors are dramatically larger than automotive manufacturing, especially when accounting for the 10.08% growth. The global inspection, repair, and maintenance market is projected to grow from $42.66 billion to $72.48 billion by 2029. And that's a CAGR of 7.9%. It's way larger than automotive sales. This would be in addition to motor sales, which has a market share of $113 billion and is expected to grow to $169 billion by 2026. That's a 6.9 CAGR. In addition to servicing and PMSM sales, Ford will be able to integrate waste motors, those components, old DC motors, that we've replaced during servicing, and put them into our CLS recycling process. This will have the effect of decreasing our EV production costs. Capturing a 5% market share in electric motor sales and a 10% market share in repairs and servicing will increase Ford's revenues between $9.91 billion in 2023 and $15.69 billion by 2027. That's top line, with cost structure similar to our competition. So that means Ford's average net income margin as a whole, the whole company would expand to 9.755%. So, where's our competitive advantage? Our competitive advantage lies in scale, strong branding, and key relationships that we already have in industrial manufacturing and supply. In addition, we already have the product, we already have the sales teams, and we already have servicing employees that work in our manufacturing plants repairing these motors for us. All we have to do is deploy them in a different segment. Continuing on, so Ford UpCycle is an innovation that fully advantages our PMSM electrovoltaic motor technology. Ford technicians will repair and replace old machinery with PMSMs and then recycle the waste motors through our current recycling system. This offering includes no additional development costs since we have the motors and very little marketing since we have these relationships. So we need to inform them, follow up, and sell a little bit, but there's very little marketing expenditure that needs to be additional to this. On top of that, we have highly specialized service personnel in Ford's current lineup. All right, our target segment. At rollout, we will be targeting those industrial manufacturers that we already know and have long-term relationships with. After that, we'll expand our offering to, anyone who manufactures and needs a motor. The Blue Ocean strategy hinges around our current supply chain partners that we can leverage, and then following this, we'll take advantage of our large-scale size in a highly fragmented market. We will sell repair services at a more efficient and profitable rate than the rest of our competition, all those small fish. Hence, we will be decreasing costs for our suppliers and providing ourselves with decreased costs for our inputs. So let's get down to brass tacks. When we look at the pro forma 2021 through 2023 This includes all liquidations. So that's why we see these blue and red numbers on here. So we'll go through this real quick. Sales 136, they will increase to 147. That's 7.51% increase. Gross profit, that's 23.88%. And that's because this is a much higher margin business than Ford is used to. We consider SG&A expenses similar to those of our competitors, and we discount them slightly. And this is where we come out with our SG&A, leaving us with other income. Now this looks bad from here, but keep in mind we've liquidated a whole bunch of manufacturing sites and things like that. So if we take a 5-year average, which is that red number, compared to our blue number here, which is the anomalous numbers that we experienced in the last year, we have $12 billion excess compared to what we're used to. So if we normalize those two things, and I'll show you on the next slide what comes out, we will see a dramatic improvement. So we normalize them with 5-year averages. This gives us a pro forma, summary essentially. Revenue stays the same, of course. Gross profit now moves up, $21.69 billion to $28.496 billion. On top of that, we have normalized net income. So if we normalized the net income from this last year, 2021, and discounted that $12 billion that I was talking about, that actually gives us $6.137 billion, and that's taking a 5-year average. And that compares to what we would be doing with UpCycle at $8.213 billion. So that's a 25.28% net income increase over the next 3 years, 2.5 years. Now, money's great, but let's think about our internal and external personnel. Let's look at Ford's ESG and DEI goals. UpCycle services industrial manufacturers by increasing production efficiency and recycling their electronic motor components. This has the effect of reducing Ford's cost of manufacturing PMSMs and reduces our carbon footprint as well as theirs. This increases the volume of products within our cyclical manufacturing initiatives that push Ford towards a future of ecologically sustainable manufacturing. So, we gain competitive advantage through lowered production costs, greater internal synergies, and it gives us access to a growing market centered on sustainability. This is an ESG-centric initiative. Next, we'll look at DEI. For more than a century, Ford has been a pioneer in providing opportunity to people regardless of race, gender, ability, sexual orientation, or background. We have a long history of providing jobs to those who could not get them anywhere else. We view this less with pride than a sober realization that we must go further and create a company where differences are truly valued, and every team member can bring their whole selves to work. Creating a culture of belonging isn't just the right thing to do, it's also the smart thing to do. UpCycle further enables Ford's DEI initiative with a focus on hiring those with diverse backgrounds. We will be increasing activity with our technical training partners across the country. This is at technical schools, these are at high schools, all of this. We will be offering additional BEV scholarships and internships in underprivileged communities to drive up the access to these high-paying jobs, which then lead us into a pipeline of highly qualified prospective employees certified to work across the country. That's our competitive advantage. Think about people first. That'll give us the profits to drive more change. All right, that's it for me. If you guys have questions or anything, feel free to reach out. If I'm not available, please send me an email and I'll be able to get back to you with the data or anything else. But take care and have a good one.